Alright everyone, welcome back to the hangar. I'm sitting inside my FOXBODY right now because this is going to be my major project for the next upcoming about 2-3 months. So I'm just going to go over what I'm doing, what I got planned, and what needs to get done. So we'll get to it. So sitting behind me is literally almost every single interior piece this car has. I honestly think the only interior I have really is this door panel. I just took off this one. I'll show y'all how to take off this door panel here in a little bit, but yeah, this is all the interior right here. This right here is for this area. I have took off the headliner. Because I'm redoing the whole interior black. The whole interior is getting black. The car is gonna be black. It's gonna be black on black. I got black rims for it. So yeah, the first thing is my interior needs to get back in. I need to get an AC part, and then I can put the HVAC box in. I really do not want to get this interior all together until because the car is currently red. So I want to be able to get all these door jambs, all this. This is where the rear quarter panel window goes. All this right here. I had a little rust spot right there. I have a couple rust spots, but I want to be able to paint all the door jambs on the car, get the engine bay good, paint that too, before I get my interior back together. Honestly, at that point, might as well just paint the whole car. I'm sorry I'm a little bit dirty. I was working on cars earlier. I was in the middle of a project on the F-150 outside, but really didn't work out too much. So with this car, there's a lot of work to do, and I've been slacking on it a little bit. I'll show y'all what I mean. So this is the engine bay right here. On every stock FOXBODY, you're gonna have a main harness that comes from right here, and this is on the driver's side, and it's gonna go over the shock tower, and then that's how you get it feeds some of the headlight harness and all that kind of stuff, lights. So what I effectively done is I did a wire tuck. So my fenders over there, I took off my fenders because I was gonna check this area right here. All this area is common rust points, so I just wanted to check on the rust. Actually, honestly, there's no rust to it. So what I started on was tucking all those wires and reorganizing all the wires. So I got halfway through it like 3 months ago and just haven't touched it since. So this is kind of where we're at right here. Let me unplug some of these connectors. So effectively what I did was I have no wires going here besides a couple. It's a mess right now, but and the power steering. Anyway, so I tucked this harness right here. This is your headlight harness. It has your 2 connectors. All these, I stripped the wire and I put this brand new wire loom. You can kind of tell the difference between the 2 colors right there. But I re-loomed this right here. And then you have your black connector. I don't quote me, I do not know what these connectors are. I do know a lot about connectors inside the car, but not this. And this is your alternator wire. So this goes into the back of the alternator. And then over here is, I did not know this, but when I initially took apart this car, right about here, I found this. And what this is in Canadian cars, it's daytime running lights. But in American cars, they had a shorting plug. There's 7 wires going to this. There is a way to delete the wires, but I really don't see the point to. It doesn't really do much. I probably just hang it up way up here. But yeah, I still have to wrap a lot of these wires over here, but I did loom some of these. I forgot to disconnect this connector. So we go into here. Oh, the hood cable also, it was going over the shock tower, but I rerouted it. So right here is, I re-loomed all this already. So this goes to your starter relay right here. So this is the part, the actual trigger wire for the starter. This pretty much powers all the interior stuff. This goes to the ignition switch, and then this is a circuit breaker for your windows. This right here was my TFI harness, so did all that. On this connector, this brown connector, a lot of what this goes to is interior gauges on this. I depinned a lot of it because at the time I had a Dakota digital dash, so like my water temp, voltage, or water temp, oil pressure went through an independent gauge. It didn't have to use the stock connectors, so I just depinned it to save the harness. I have not depinned the other side because that was going to be a mess. But yeah, this is this side so far. Just getting it all together pretty much. I will probably get like some C clamps and get as high as I can in the fender well, so it doesn't rub on the shock or anything like that. So one thing else I did was it's connected to the starter relay, but I took my, I had it laying in there. I took my old starter harness and I re-loomed it and made it my own because I was running a mini starter, so there's a couple more wires. So right here, this is starter relay, of course. I just re-loomed it, make it nice and neat. When the finishing touches do come, I will be wrapping it around the sway bar right here. So that's the engine bay so far. So let's go together. Right, so on this side, besides the wiring harnesses and stuff, this is the alternator harness. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go through this little hole right here, and then the alternator is going to sit somewhere right there, probably more further out. But this car is getting a 427 swap, Windsor swap. It's going to be a Dart 427 short block, AFR 205 heads, and a Super Victor intake. I will be running a Holley Terminator X, so it will be EFI. I got 80-pound injectors over there. The type of inlet I'm using is going to be a carb style. So it's a, here I got over here in the shop. So I got a whole bunch of parts, but that's the air filter right there. So I'm using a 4-barrel throttle body. So this is not a carb, it's just in the style of a carb. It uses a 4150 carb bolt thingy. Anyway, so it's a 4-barrel. The cool part about this is it really works with the Terminator X. It is universal. It's a Holley. I can't remember the part number, but the one thing I do like about it is the vacuum ports. Then it has a GM sensor for the idle air control, GM sensor for the I don't know the exact placement, but I know this is the idle air control, but GM sensor for the I believe this is a throttle position sensor, and then a GM sensor for the manifold air temperature. So it's 3 sensors out of the way on the Terminator X. Because really on the Terminator X, you I have a spare one over there, but you really don't, it's really not that hard. Like, a lot of people get scared with the wiring, but it's not hard at all. The only hard connections you have to make inside the car, at least in a Fox body or in general, is honestly you just need, it's the main connectors. So 2 of them, you got one goes to the positive side of your battery and one goes to the negative side. Don't try to ground it out anywhere, and don't try to get power from anywhere. Just put it positive where it needs to go, on the positive terminal of the battery, negative on the ground. I heard people having problems with that. The other connections you have to make is for a fuel pump relay. So it's really 4 connections, I believe. So you use a ground, then a what's it called, 12-volt power. So that goes to straight to your battery also. It says it in the instructions. Then you need a ground, a 12-volt switched, so you can run it through an add a fuse on your fuse box, and then the trigger wire, or the wire that actually goes to your fuel pump. On Fox bodies, on 80, I believe 86 to 91, your fuel pump relay is going to be underneath the driver's seat. But if you are running a Terminator X, or you plan to if you have a Fox body, there is a connector. I can't find it exactly. FOXBODY has a good video on it, but there's a connector over here, and you can basically you connect the green wire on the Terminator X to a green wire there, because that green wire goes to the fuel pump relay underneath the driver's seat. What you do is you take off your driver's seat and you cut the wire and just splice them together, because it's just so you don't have to wire in all the way. I will have to change that because I'm going to be running an aftermarket fuel pump. I do want to run E85 in this car, or at least flex fuel. So I will have to run a bigger fuel pump. Looking at the LMR's SV, the full bells and whistles fuel intake setup. So Next up for the car is paint. So as you can see here, I already started getting some of this door molding off. It's kind of hard because it's 3M tape. I haven't really marked too much, but I put mark there because I have a door ding right here. The only hard part about this, I've never done any body work, so it's gonna be interesting, but this is right on a body line. One thing I did notice though is that this car has been painted before and they never lined it up correctly. And how I know that, well, the door is at least been off. And how I know that is you come right here, and this body line right here cannot be adjusted or moved. This is the quarter panel. The only way this can be moved is if you cut the whole panel out. Anyway, so if you look here, they'll line up. So that's not a big deal though, because over here on the door, you got the bottom, top bottoms. You can, I'm taking the doors off, but you can loosen these up and then you can adjust the door that way. So, but I do need to start getting sanding, you know, all the work and finish. I will also be doing, since I'm expecting to run about 500 and no less than 500 wheel horsepower, so on a dyno. So I will be upgrading the brake booster to a 93 Cobra brake booster. I heard some things you have to like hammer in the fender well or the shock tower just a little bit. So we'll figure it out as we go. A lot of people, including myself at first, they get very nervous with Fox bodies because like the question always is, I bought this car in 2021 bone stock. The only thing it had was a headers or shorty headers and a intake spacer. It was bone stock and full exhaust. I thought it had been cammed, but when I pulled out the cam in my heads cam intake I think I did it in May of 22 last year. I pulled out the cam and it had ZF marking on it. So it was a mass airflow cam, so 89 to 93 cam, so it was a stock cam. A lot of people get nervous. Really just YouTube. There's a lot of videos out there. YouTubers I watch a lot is if you want to get a Fox body to turbo it, Neo Mustangs, hands down, really cool dude. Does nothing but turbo Fox bodies. He had a Fox body that had a stock cam, junkyard heads, junkyard intake, and a turbo kit, and he ran a 10.6, I think, 10.8. He still ran 10s. And then Brutal, he's also a really good Fox body dude. A lot of stuff he showed me. I wish I had another Fox body, honestly, that was pretty much stock, so you can go on the adventure of that. This is kind of like halfway through this project, so a lot of people have been telling me to make this YouTube channel for a while. So my wheels on these are LMR's SVE Saline SC style wheels. The rears are deep dish, but it's messy back there. So I do plan on painting this whole car black. I haven't picked out a specific black yet, but it's gonna be a kind of like I'm gonna do a base coat, clear coat system. But with my wheels, I don't know how I feel about the black on black. I will put a picture somewhere in the video of what I would like to do based off an actual Saline Mustang. They had it was like pretty much like this, but it was like white and more extended out, and it was like white all around. So I think a black on white would look really good. So just let me know what y'all think. But that's pretty much the end of the Fox body. I just gotta get to it and get a lot of work. That one's my baby. I'm never gonna sell that one. All these other cars are expendable, and my 2003 Cobra is expendable. My 85 pickup is expendable, but not my Fox body. I like that car too much. I do like my Cobra. I will be having actually more content on the Cobra. I do have a 200 amp alternator in the way, and I may be doing a pulley also. If I do end up doing the pulley, it will be a 3-part series. The first one will be the 200 amp alternator install with the big 3 wire kit. And then the second one will be the pulley install, and the third one will be the dyno day. One thing I do have to address on this car is my rear diff leaks. But the thing about independent rear suspension Mustangs like this is that it's a lot faster just to drop the independent rear suspension, sadly, and I don't feel like doing that. But yeah, that's it for the video today, guys. Let me know what y'all think, what y'all want to see more of. Until next time.